It's September 15th, 2022, and we're done. Hallelujah.
Ta-da!
So the house hits the market
Yay.
today. And we were just talking about how I think the first video we filmed was in July of 2021, and that was after we bought the house and started planning. Elizabeth started planning on what we were actually going to do. But the funny thing is that we actually started construction. Our crew showed up here September 15th of 2021. So it's been a full year to the day that we've been working on it. However, we had a couple other houses that we were working on during this time. So I think we've got about 8.5 months of work in this house, which considering everything that had to be done, especially the fact that it took us 2 solid months to raise this thing off the ground and do a new foundation and set it back down. I think we've actually made some really good progress, even though it seems like an eternity with this house, and I'm not necessarily itching to do one this size again right now.
Yeah, we normally do 1,500 square feet.
1,500 square feet.
3 bedroom, 2 bath.
Yeah. But I mean, the duplexes that we're working on across the street now, how many square feet are those?
I can't remember. It all blurs together.
That's probably about 1,800 square feet. And it's in as bad a condition as this thing was, pretty much, but I think they're gonna get
smaller.
quicker.
Yeah.
People aren't getting COVID as much. You know, we had to battle COVID during this with people being out
And it's
available.
This one's like copy paste. You do the same on that side, you do on the other. So
That's right. So
mirror
that'll
image.
be good. That'll be really good. So we made it. We survived. Didn't hit the baby deadline of August 1st. He came July 28th, but we are here, and it's September 15th.
Persevered.
And we're excited. We're excited how it turned out. Elizabeth did an awesome job. You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, I kind of make sure everything everybody executes, and she is the mastermind, and it's pretty incredible how it all turned out.
This is the main living area, and it's a good sized space. And what I envisioned for this space from the beginning was to really open up some of these areas. We opened up these doorways into the other rooms, and really just wanted it to be more of a gathering spot for whatever family buys this place. And before there was a window here, which was nice, but I always love gathering around a fireplace, and having these built-ins just really kind of give it We've got some on each side, and I love the fact that you could like close all of these off, and there's a door over here too, and you know, if you wanted to have close it all off for a dinner party or something, just have a little secret talks here, I guess. But,
Well, and I love the fact that all the doors in this room were reclaimed, and
Yes.
a lot of doors in this house are reclaimed, and so I think these doors came, were these doors in this house? They were in this house, but I don't know.
I don't know, they aren't original to the
Yeah,
house,
original.
no, they're newer doors,
New doors,
but
we just inherited them.
we did.
And so, and then.
But they were really tall, and so for this
Right.
house,
And
it
it
was
worked out
great.
great, yeah. And even the transom in this room is original to the house. I'm shocked that the guys actually could clean that glass. I mean, that's 100-year plus of.
Well, it was over here in the kitchen,
Yeah.
and then we moved it into this room.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's still a lot of original components in this house, but obviously if you look at what we started with, you know, we had to go down with new hardwood floors, new trim, you know, crown molding, baseboards, some doors, you know, obviously added drywall and everything, but there's still so much just original character in this house combined with some newness that, I mean, makes it a very unique opportunity to have a 100-plus-year-old house that's
Looks brand new.
basically brand
Yeah.
new.
So this is the kitchen, and it's turned out really beautifully. Lots of cabinet space now, and before there was just this tiny little pantry over there. We took it out, and it was really just two, probably like 5-foot walls of the kitchen. So that's just like 10 linear feet of kitchen.
I think you could like touch the ceiling
Yeah.
with your hand.
And then, yeah, it was just so dirty. But,
Yeah.
so I wanted to, there were 2 longer windows here, and I wanted this to really be the focal point of the kitchen were the windows, but we had to take the old windows out, and we had some that we were able to reuse here, some shorter ones, where it made sense to be able to put the kitchen sink underneath. So I just love the fact that you can look out here, and you have, again, you have that view where you can look out. That goes all the way to the living room now.
And also, you know, just using those reclaimed windows too, you know, all the top panes still have the wavy glass that's real old, which is pretty cool.
Mhm. And in keeping with the house, I always think marble, you know, it's classic, it's timeless, and you want me to show you that off?
I like to press that button.
Just makes you feel good.
Yeah, I think it's like a little robot in here.
So yes, we have the Coons gas range in here
Shameless plug.
with the with the downdraft that you think is really cool. And in the island, and back to my marble. You know, that's just classic and timeless, and so that's what we did in the kitchen, and I think it looks great and makes sense. And the layout is just so much better. You got everything you need in a modern kitchen: oven, microwave, dishwasher, refrigerator, range, and then I've got 2 pantry cabinets over here. And then I just envision, you know, coffee going over there on that side, and stools, and again, I just really see this as a family house. And it doesn't have to be a family, but it would be great for a family. Most people love to enter through their kitchens from wherever they're going to park their cars, and so I've learned to always think about that. Even though we don't have a garage, there's, you know, the driveway is on that side, and I wanted it to definitely come in on this side. I just think about me when I'm unloading groceries out of the car, because I didn't really do it on our other house down the street, and it was, you know, you had to take them all the way through the house to the other side where the kitchen was. There's a bedroom now, there's cabinets. Again, I was thinking family, kids need to put backpacks, coats, shoes somewhere right when they come in, lots of storage over there. And then It was just,
Yeah, it was
It
a
had to go.
horrible shape. I think a family of raccoons occupied it for the last 2 or 3 years, and yeah, it was scary.
okay, so we're in the master bedroom, with the master bath right over here. And I wanted to bring there were just several rooms on this side of the house, and I really wanted to bring a master down to the main level. So that's what we did. And originally, I had an extra closet in this room on my floor plan, and then when we did it, this closet turned out to be so much bigger than I even really realized it was going to be. And it just, again, when I do my furniture plans, sometimes I do those just to be able to see the space and see how it's going to work. And the only place to really put the bed would have been, in that case, against the window, and I just wasn't liking that. And so sometimes by doing that, I learn things about the space and how things work better. So the bed would work much better over there. We ended up getting a extra, two closets in the study, and then a built-in over there. So that turned out nice. So yeah, big, huge closet in here, nice size, large master bath. All the original bathrooms used to be, at least down here, they were added on the back. And that's kind of how they did it back then. When for a house this old, they built the house first, and then when they decided to modernize, a lot of times you'll see bathrooms on the back of the house that they added onto the porch.
Yeah.
That's almost what it seems like.
So one cool thing that we were able to do in all the bathrooms here were actually use some of the original bathtubs. And so we do that on a lot of our projects, especially whenever they've got some old cast iron, clawfoot tubs. And this didn't look anything like this at first. We have to go in, sand it down completely. We have a 2-part epoxy kit that we use to re-glaze and finish a tub, and so it looks brand new.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
with these older houses, a lot of times you'll get bathtubs like this, and it's like, yeah, don't throw that away.
Yeah. Well, and
Use it, and it's just nice to keep it with the house too.
You know, I mean, for us to spend, 4 hours working on one of these tubs and a $100 kit, I mean, it's just so awesome to have, a tub that's this old. I mean, we could go and get a light one that's probably easier to carry upstairs. We had to have 6 guys, myself included, carrying the one upstairs that probably weighs 700 pounds. And
Yeah,
so
they love
that's
me.
a narrow staircase.
They love me because the tub that was downstairs, I put upstairs, and the tub that was upstairs, I put downstairs.
Yeah. So that's why I've been seeing Adam Martin for the last several months. So, yeah.
I was kind of thrown off a little bit when I was designing it. I'm a big symmetry girl. I love making things symmetrical, and it's just pretty when you can bring that into a design. So when I was designing it, I was like, how do I configure this? How do I do this layout of this bathroom? And I wanted to really use this window. And obviously, anybody saying like, "Oh my goodness, so the bathtub's right in front of the window." It's called window treatments, okay?
It's not a peach.
You get, you get a shade, you get plantation shutters, that's for the new homeowner. But just this window just really would be, it lets in so much beautiful natural light, and I was able to squeeze in 2 vanities on each side of it, and then I had all this space over here that I could still use for had a nice large linen cabinet, shower, and toilets hidden over here. I always like to kind of try to hide and tuck away the toilets for a little extra privacy. So it's just really great space. Again, I've got the marble in here. Wanted it, again, the classic timeless marble, but then also it just looks kind of nicer high end for the master suite. Got a lot of the antique gold antique brass finishes, which I think are just in keeping with the house too, antique style. I just love this back fixture. And, but still got modern conveniences in the shower with a handheld and rain shower and shampoo niche and things like that. This is one of my favorite things about the house was this original staircase. I just thought that a lot of the molding and spindles and it was just really pretty. And so, and just the potential it had too. So we opened this up so that when you enter through the front door, coming through this way, it's just the first thing you see, and it's just really nice and beautiful.
And that's 100% original. That was tough. We had a couple of guys that, I mean, all they did for a week was sand these steps and rails and everything. And so every bit of wood going up on the treads, the landing upstairs, and upstairs foyer is all original. And that's basically the only flooring that we were able to salvage and not go with new hardwood for the whole house, which I think is pretty cool.
It is. And then there was like a smaller little door here that went out to, it was a covered porch. I guess they had like the laundry up there or something, but I just saw the potential for it to be a set of double French doors to go out to the deck. And it just brings a lot of light in too, natural light. And that's just going to be a great way to get outside and enjoy that deck too. So now we're in the study, or I've been calling it too a bonus area, because it is just really, you could use it for a lot of things. I envision it could be an office or study, somebody could work in here. It could also be a kid's playroom.
Yeah, even a guest bedroom.
It could be a guest bedroom, or a bedroom for a kid too, because we've got 2 closets, so it's got the closet space and just a lot of different things you could do with this room. So I like that about it. Again, we had this space in between and just was really able to utilize it for built-in and 2 closets. And again, we've reclaimed some of the original 5-panel doors that were here. And these French doors here too, it turned out, these weren't original to the house, but we pulled them out.
House down the street.
House down the street. Sometimes you can't use things in one spot and then we reuse them in another. So we keep a lot of doors and things like that because even though we may take them out to maybe open an area up, we can use it on a future project.
And the house that this came out of was another early 1900s, if not earlier.
So it fits.
Yeah.
Fits this house too.
I just remember whenever we first got this house, the main door that you could actually come through was right there. And
Well,
so,
it used to be they made a duplex.
and so you come through that door, well then we had about a 20-foot piece of tin roof that
there's a huge hole in the floor.
There's a huge hole in the floor and a huge hole in the ceiling. And so that was fun.
Forgot it was like that.
Yeah, it was
Glad
bad.
I forgot.
It was bad.
So now we're upstairs, and we've got 3 bedrooms up here. A lot of good space, and there was good space that we were able to use that wasn't being used before in the attic space. And so one of the most exciting things I found was back in this bedroom, behind a wall, there was a good amount of attic space that we were actually able to tap into and use for a bathroom, a good sized bathroom. And there was originally a bathroom over here, smaller, and then there was originally a bathroom over here. It was kind of small, but it was really awkward. You could tell I added it on because it really took a big chunk out of this room. So I took it back to a closet and was able to, that just solved the issue. And now these 2 bedrooms share this large bath.
And this bedroom has its own bathroom.
It does.
So 3 bed, 2 bath, and
No, 3-bed, 2-bath up here.
we
Just up here.
well, I know if you count the whole house, it's 5 bedroom, 3.5 bath.
Very
But
good.
Upstairs, 3 bedroom.
I just
2
didn't
bath.
want to get that confused.
Okay, all right, I got you.
We gotta sell this thing.
Yeah, I know. And so, but, and then also up here, what's kind of neat is, I mean, there's so many different eaves on this house in some space that, well, you just can't use unless you're, 2.5 feet tall. But we left in all the closets a small access door to where you can still access all of these eaves, whether, something needs to be done in the future or just for storage. Put a lot of things in
And
there.
then we added
Just
this
don't lose any
attic,
children in there.
this attic pull down too, to be able to access this
HVAC and
and just more,
space.
more storage space.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's got some good storage.
Yeah. That's the other thing about these old houses. Just thinking about the attic, obviously we insulate everything, but it's a little more challenging in these older houses that didn't have insulation whenever you start out, and you've got 1x12s on the walls covering it up. So we do go through and drill openings before drywall and pump in insulation in all exterior walls. So fortunately, we've been able to get the house sealed up really well.
I'd say as far as selections, like lighting's a big favorite of mine, but I like these sconces in here. I had to think of a way because of this, adding this overhead attic access, it limited me on what types of lights I could do, so wall sconces really made sense in here.
You pick out some good lighting fixtures, and Tim McCraw and John and JP and his crew, they knock it out.
They do. And then if I change a light in the process,
It's okay.
it's okay, they don't complain,
Yeah.
they just do it.
That's right. He's
They say, yes ma'am.
they've caught on. Yeah, or Tim McCraw, he's an electrician in New Albany, and so he's done most of our projects. He's the only electrician we use for our projects, so he does a good job. And then also, got to give a shout out to James. James is our main man on our modern antiquity team with our crew, and
He's a go-getter.
yeah, none of this would happen without him. So he's got his hand on every single thing in this place.
So here's the extra space that I was able to get in the eaves and in the attic space, I guess you call it attic space. But I was excited about it, and it was a lot of space, but it was also a little bit of a challenge because we do have these.
Just a little bit.
Well, I had to really think creatively on how to design it. And anytime you do anything different, sometimes everybody kind of freaks out, and they're like, "Wait, why are we doing it like this?" I'm like, "I promise you, it's going to work, and it's going to be really good." But I had to really think of things different because of these angles in the ceiling, the way the ceiling slants, and the best way to do that was to keep a lot of the plumbing up against it, because that way you stand back from the angles and you're still able to use the space very well. And we've still got a lot of open here in the middle, and it just turned out to work. And the thing I think that threw everybody off was this space in here, which I've always loved them. I've seen them, you watch on Instagram and you get inspiration other places. This is called a wet room, actually. And so this was really probably the most challenging part, as far as just getting it done, but it turned out really nicely. So what a wet room is it's where you have a tub and shower combined in the same room. So you tile everything in the room. We were able to, this is the only way I could really figure out how to get everything in the space that I wanted. So we've got a rain shower here, and we've got hand shower over here. I wouldn't do that. You gonna take a shower?
No, I kind of want to see that. Yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. pretty cool.
Obviously, you need to close the door before you turn it
Yeah,
on.
probably so.
But, and then we've got another one of our original tubs that we were able to, redo
That's
and,
pretty cool.
utilize in here. And so again, great for families, able to have a tub upstairs for young kids. I also like the hand showers. You just hose those kids off.
Or you have dogs?
They're clean.
This would be a great dog bathroom as well. Maybe.
I wouldn't bake
Yeah,
a dog
okay, wow.
up here. That's just me.
Okay.
I'd bake them in the one. Well, if it was a big dog, yeah,
Yeah,
you
a
totally
big
could.
dog. Yeah,
You totally could.
that's right.
Oh, we have little dogs, so I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, that's true.
But, and then lots of storage over here. We're up behind the door. Linen storage, got little hooks for towels. Kind of chose a more classic, again, marble top. Went a little darker on the floor. I reversed, did the classic subway tile in here and a little bit darker grout and then lighter grout to be able to contrast with this darker gray floor. And yeah, I love it. I think it's fun. It's different and it works for the space.
Yeah. Everyone that came upstairs in this house would always say, I am really interested to see how this is going to work. And it worked.
I knew it would.
So if you look back to some of the early pictures, the back of the house is probably what terrified me the most.
It was bad.
It was really bad. And also we had like 12, no telling how old a pine trees, this big around. And then there was a little building that we found back there that was covered up that we decided to take out. But got everything cleaned up, all the foundation work, and then added a huge deck. And Elizabeth, well, I didn't know it was going to be that big, but she wanted to go ahead and take it across the kitchen as well. And it turned out really cool.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Really cool. And so, on the outside with the deck, and then Jeremy Moody did our landscaping. Zach Willard helped us out with our drywall and sod and did a great job. And also just looking at the exterior of the house, a lot of the siding we were able to salvage. Had to do a lot of prep work to it. And then most of the wood, for the remainder of the house that we had to replace. Fortunately, Union Lumber is just right down the street from us, and so that's a big plus. And maybe Terry will give me a good deal on some lumber the next time we buy them.
Yeah, as far as the design of the deck, I think what really stands out is just this beautiful railing that our guys built. James was probably about ready to kill me after it, but it turned out really, really pretty, and it's, to me, a showstopper. And I got a little worried because we had to end up adding a few more, I guess, not spindles, but I just envision a lot of great outdoor dining. There's a little nook that I think would be perfect to put a table in, and then just tons of space for outdoor seating. And then this yard is really a good size. Once we took out a lot of the extra junk that was just back here, it's really a great yard space.
Yeah. And that's the other good thing about the trees. Jay Cotton and Angry Beavers, they helped take out all the trees and everything for us, but they left these old pines because we've used them before, and so we try to mill our own lumber sometimes whenever the opportunity presents itself, and so it's cool to be able to leverage some of these however old, 100-year-old plus pine trees that have been back here. So, previously, well, there really wasn't much of a driveway except right here, way back when, and I guess there was access to the back of the house, but we really wanted to make this house to where it had a great backyard. If the owner wants to fence in, you've got a huge space. You can put a pool. There's tons of opportunity in the backyard. And so we wanted to pull that driveway up to the front, like Elizabeth mentioned earlier, to have access to the kitchen.
It just made sense design-wise too.
And so,
and it didn't, to move it, didn't take as much out of the backyard.
Yeah, we're big fans of gravel. You know, we just like, you know, like at our house, we went down with you know, a pea gravel, just, you know, for time period and all. But for this house, you know, we needed to do concrete, and so we did an exposed aggregate with pea gravel, and it just goes with the time of the house, you know, a little bit more. I'm actually shocked. I mean, it matches some of these old sidewalks just really well after we took a pressure washer to the sidewalks. So.
Another thing, at least exterior wise, just back to the design of things, which that's design wise too, that's kind of keeping the history of the house, but the driveway and the color and making sure all those things work together. I'm a detail person. Even little details like the vent covers for the foundation. I found those New Orleans, that they reclaimed these vent covers from houses in New Orleans, and I ordered them and they shipped them here and we put them on the house. Adding shutters and adding the decorative hardware to them. Just lots of little details.
Of little expensive details.
No, that is.
Yeah, look at the bill for those vent covers.
Well, they look really nice, and I think it looks great. And I think it makes sense with the house. Just gives it that little extra touch.
We're gonna call this the charity house, because we're doing it for charity. You know, we're. I think back to whenever we bought this house, and this was probably the biggest eyesore on Cleveland Street. And I remember after we bought it, Eric had shot me an email just saying, hey, I need to let them know what your timeline on Cleveland Street is, because you know, it's one that is coming up to be condemned and demolished. And truthfully, we could have done this house for less money if we tore it down and built a new one. But, well, not a new one to this scale, but if someone came in and tore this house down and built, you know, a typical single family home out of today's, you know, just pure drywall, et cetera, materials, it would have been more affordable than what we've done here. But I think
but it was worth saving.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at, is that you know, you step back and look at what this place has come from and where it is now. You know, each of these houses that we do, I think that we just got, you know, it's a little pride associated with it when you save something like this. And it's been so neat. You know, the guys working here and us, you know, we'll have people walk by. I mean, this place is like well, I shouldn't say museum, there's one down the street, but I mean, it's like a show. We should have charged an entrance fee, and that might have covered, you know.
We're filming it.
Yeah. And so, but people stop by all the time, and oh my gosh, you know, I remember coming over to a cheerleader party over here whenever I was in high school, you know, and whatever year that might have been. And so, it's
there's
it's just
you know,
cool.
people have memories here, and it's historic, and it's just the character of it was worth saving.
Yeah.
And it just goes back to you know, keeping your community, keeping those ties to some of the past that are important. I mean, for example, the Faulkner home was just down the street, and it got torn down at one point. So I think that homes like these are worth saving, because you know, that's such a sad circumstance that is no longer. We just have the site now. You know, these homes are worth saving, and that can be done. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
Definitely takes a lot of work.
Well, and you know, people always talk about the character that Oxford has. When you drive down some of these streets in Oxford, and you've got the mature trees and the older homes and the character that it brings, this area of New Albany and how it's set up, and the older homes here can have every bit of character that, you know, some of the most that an Oxford may have. And I mean, you just look down through here at the mature trees, the older homes, it just takes a little bit of effort, or in this case, a lot of bit of effort. And so it's exciting just that we've been able to be
And
a
I
part
hope
of
that
it.
maybe it would spur, some excitement in the neighborhood, and, other homeowners can maybe draw some inspiration and go out and do it, do it on their home in this area. And also, there's talks about this whole neighborhood is gonna hopefully become, a historic North Side neighborhood, because it is special and it's unique and, again, worth saving.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been an adventure. I'm glad it's over. If you check out Wheeler Street, the street behind the high school, we've done a few houses over there in the past few years, but there's 2 duplexes there. Those duplexes were actually moved, I think, well, I'd have to look at whenever the Sine or
They were on
Magnolia
they
Civic
were on
Center.
Bankhead Street.
Well, whenever the Magnolia Civic Center was built, those 2 duplexes used to sit where the Magnolia Civic Center was, and they were moved, I'm assuming in the 30s or somewhere around there. They were moved to Wheeler Street, and so they're in as bad, or one of them's in as bad a shape as this place is, and so it is currently raised up with about 25 jacks,
Doing it again.
A couple
Yeah.
feet off of the foundation, and we're doing it again.
Except on a smaller scale.
Yeah, it's not quite as big, and they're not 2 stories, and so we're working through that now. That's going to be really cool. You're doing kind of a New Orleans style,
Yeah, just the
double shotgun.
It reminded me of a great floor plan, I feel like, for it, and it'll make a great place for somebody to live.
Yeah, yeah,
Two different units.
yeah. That one's exciting. Elizabeth likes to do these things and sell them. I like to do them and rent them.
I'm glad. I'm happy this is a rental this time.
Yeah.
I'm